Hi crafting friends, are you looking for some inspiration and creative ideas for your spring cards? We have that here today on Creative Moments by G. I'm G and so happy that I'm with you today. Let's head down to the crafting table and let me show you a Bendi card that we're going to make. We're actually going to make two. Look at this beautiful card. Isn't that great? Now we'll discuss it a little bit later, but this is a Bendi card and it does fit in a standard envelope. The first thing you need to do is cut your base card. And your base card is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I know that's really different than our normal base cards, but this lays flat and we don't ever close it like an original card. And I want to remind you, all our measurements will be listed over on creativemomentsbyg.com. Just click on that My Blog tab. But cut this and then we're going to go ahead and score it. So bring out your trimmer and we're going to score at 2 3/4. Okay, so you can just bend it just like this. We're not going to shut it completely. Now we're just going to move that to the side. And we need to go ahead and cut a few additional pieces. Now, this is the mechanism that's going to go in the back that allows you to build on top of it. And the size of that mechanism is 2 by 4 1/2. We have to make some score lines, so let's just do all our scoring at once. So go ahead and take this and we're going to score at 1/2 inch, 2 inches, 2 1/2, and 4 inches. Now on this Bendi card, the inside mechanism a lot of times does not have this little flat panel here. Let me bend that and show you. And that is so nice because we love this flat panel right here and you'll see why in just a moment. So we have that scored. Now we also need to cut the little part on the front that kind of bubbles out. The size of this is 1 1/4 by 6 1/2, and we're going to score a 1/2 inch on each side. So let's just get those score lines done. Flip it over. Go ahead and score it on half. So 1/2 inch on both sides. And I believe that's all that we need for our score lines. Now this is going to go right on the front of our little bendy part that bends. So the next thing that we need to do is pick our DSP or our patterned paper. Look at this beautiful paper that we selected. Now, this paper is from Fancy Flora, and I'm going to list all the supplies and materials below this video. So if you fall in love with them like we did, you can just pick them up right there. They'll have a link for you. Now, before you put these panels down, you need to go ahead and put your bendy part. So we're going to just fold over where we put our score line. We're going to bring in our glue and just add it to the tab, and now add it to the side of this, making sure that it reaches the bottom of your base card. We're going to just push this over to the left because we're going to bring in one of our panels and lay it down. You want to make sure that that tab is underneath your panel. So let's just line that up, making sure that we have the same border all the way around. Okay. And now on this side, we are going to have to just glue this down, just like this, and then slip in our panel. So let's put our glue right on the tab. Just fold it over and lay this, kind of bend it up a little bit and just hold it. Now see how it kind of bows just a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. Now that's stuck really well. Look at that. We can already see it's starting to give us that beautiful area that we're going to decorate. And now we're going to put some glue on this panel and just go ahead and slip it in to our base card, making sure that we have our border all the way around the side. So we're just going to go ahead and go underneath it. Make sure that you push it down here too. Now we're going to set this to the side because we want to go ahead and stamp whatever message that you're going to use. But let me show you the stamp set that we are going to use to decorate this beautiful card. Look at this, Daffodil Daydream. We are going to stamp these flowers, and on the front of that bendy part, we're going to stamp this beautiful decoration. We're also going to stamp this butterfly. Now this particular bundle does have the dies. You can buy the dies so that you can cut this out, cut the flowers out. That makes it really nice. So you can cut out both flowers, and you can also cut out some beautiful stems that we're going to add to our bendy card. But let's go ahead and take this, and I'm going to stamp this in Night of Navy. Isn't that a beautiful design? So tap, tap, tap. I believe I have enough ink on there, and we're just going to center it. Look at how pretty that is. Love that design. Now I'm going to go ahead and add this right to the front. And you want to be careful when you're adding, if you add a strip to this front, because you don't want to put a crimp in this area right here, because you see how it just folds so nicely. Oh, so pretty, right? Now we're going to put the inside mechanism. Now we went ahead and we folded this. We're going to just crease our score lines on the outside, and you can bring in your bone folder. And you don't need a real hard crease right here in the center of this. So I'm just going to leave it like that. We're going to add the glue. We're going to flatten this, and we'll put it down just like this. Okay? And you want to make sure that this comes all the way to the bottom of the card right here. So go ahead and just hold it and slip it in. The next tip I want to give you is you want to make sure that your score line on the middle of this base card falls right in the middle of this area. So that's an important little tip. And then you can use your bone folder and just really hold it down. Just go over it to really get that glue to where it's stuck. And look at this. Look at that. See how perfectly that opens up? And it closes to fit in an envelope. Now we get to decorate. So let's bring in some of our cardstock. Let's go ahead and bring in our stamps and stamp our beautiful flowers. Now we're going to use Memento. We're just inking these up. And we're going to ink up our butterfly. Now we're just going to do a little bit of coloring, and we're bringing in some Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, and Old Olive. So let's just go ahead and do a little bit of coloring. Now on these flowers, I use the blends to color Daffodil Delight over the entire flower. Now I'm going to bring the pumpkin pie in just to give it some more definition. So I'm just going to use the pencil nib and just go over those areas that they already gave us, and you can just follow those to give the definition. Now, of course, you can do more blending if you want, but I think that looks really pretty. Now, on our butterfly, I went ahead and I just colored the inside area with the pumpkin pie. And the outside area with our Daffodil Delight. And there we have it. This is what it will look like after you use the pumpkin pie to define the flower just a little bit more. Now, I went ahead and I cut these out, and I also used the dies that are in that bundle to cut out some leaves that we can use that I showed you earlier. So let's go ahead and zoom back out, and I will show you how to put this together. So we have our flowers already colored. And now we're just going to decide exactly where we want them. Now remember, you can't go over this area because this is your card that's going to fit in the envelope. I think I'm going to go ahead and just glue this one down, and I'm going to put the other two up on dimensionals. So we know that we need our glue right here. And I put this first flower right on that center part that I told you about that actually provides a base to help it stand out a little better. Now I'm going to add these two, and I'm going to just add them on dimensionals. And I'm adding them on dimensionals because I think they need some height, but also it allows me to add these leaves behind it. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And now let's go ahead and just slip some of these leaves. We can cut off the bottom right here. You can also add the leaves behind your flowers. And I'm adding it to the very back of this, making sure that we stay underneath this border. Okay, so now we just need to cut off these bottom pieces. And we need to add our sentiment to the front. Now I went ahead and I cut out Happy Mother's Day from this stamp set. So let's go ahead and just add that on some dimensionals right in the center. Now, of course, you can use this for Easter blessings, a birthday, thank you, whatever you want. But we just wanted to show you a really cute design for a Mother's Day card. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this little butterfly . And to even everything out, we'll just put some gems right here. And here we have our first card. Now let me show you how it fits in the envelope. Fits perfectly in the envelope. They take it out, they bend it just a little bit, sits up perfectly, and this is what it looks like on the front. What do you think about that card? Oh my goodness, we love this design. Just some quick inspiration for you, but let's move on to our second card. Now, our second card, we'll go ahead and just put that right here so you can see it. Our second card, we're using some really bright, festive colors. So, we have used our dots and spots die to cut this out. We are using our Easter Bunny bundle to decorate this card. Now, on this one, we need to go ahead and bring in our trimmer and get this scored. We went ahead and cut it out. So let's score this at 2 3/4. So we're just going to bend it just a little bit. We're going to bring in our mechanism that we're actually going to put the bunny on, and we are going to score it at 1/2 inch, 2 inches, 2.5 inches, and 4 inches. And remember, on this inside mechanism, the 2 and the 2.5 inch score lines, that gives us our landing so that we can add something right to the center of it. And we need to go ahead and score our bendy part of our card at 1/2 inch on both sides. Now we're going to just crease these score lines. Bring in your bone folder. Give it a good crease. We're going to bring in our glue. Put it right here because we want to lay this down before we bring in our panels. Just glue that to the front just like this. And just bring this over, right? Because we're going to add one of our panels. We have this beautiful DSP. Look at that gorgeous paper. Now we are going to glue this side down to the right side. Very easy. And remember, don't push it flat because this bendy, he likes to curve. So go ahead and bring it right to the edge and just push it down. Don't push it down in the middle because you'll accidentally crimp it. You can bring in your bone folder and just really apply some pressure on the inside. Now we're going to lay down our other panel. And I like to go ahead and just bring in my bone folder and just really make sure that panel is glued down. Because it's kind of hard to see and to push it down right underneath this bendy part. Because this bendy card has a bunch of moving parts, doesn't it? So here we go. Now the next thing we're going to do so that we can see that gorgeous grape, we went ahead, like I said, and used our dots and spots. So we are going to glue this down right on the front. How cute is that? So you just add your adhesive around those cut out dots. Just very carefully lay it down. Look, we still have it. Always check to make sure everything's working. And now we're going to take this part and we're going to crease our score lines. So we're going to crease each end. Use your bone folder. And then you can just crease this with your finger. You don't need a real strong crease on this. But you see how it kind of gives you a landing area. And this is particularly important for this one because we're going to add an oval. And it needs something to be glued to, right? So let's go ahead and glue this down on the inside of our card. Now remember I said just hold it like this, and you need it to slip down to where it's even to the bottom of the card. And this landing part, put the center of your base card right in the center of that. And there we have it. See how it pops up? So easy. This is one of those cards that looks complicated, but is so easy to recreate. Now, I went ahead and I colored our bunny. Look at that. Now, I want to show you how I shaded our bunny. So, I'm going to bring in our bunny, and you'll need to find a very light brown, and then an even lighter brown. So whatever you have, and let me show you how we color him. We're just going to put a border around him right here. Then go down his back, around his leg, and this is going to give us our shadow so that it doesn't look just one-dimensional. I'm going to do a little bit of shading right there. Little bit of shading on the front. And then just a tad of shading right here. Okay. Little bit on his face. Okay, so we have all the areas that we want to shade, and now we're going to come in with that lighter color. And we're just going to go over this line so that there's not such a strong difference between the two colors. We want this to go ahead and fade just a little bit. And because these are alcohol markers, they will actually lighten up. Okay, we're going to bring in a pink just to give him a little touch on his ear. And then on his nose, right? Now, if this is still too dark for you, all you have to do is go back in with your light and just go over that line, and it will lighten up for you. You just have to wait for that coloring to dissipate. Now look at that. Look how pretty he is. So pretty. Now we have our oval. We're going to put our oval this way. We're going to keep it up about like that. So we're going to bring in some grass, and we're going to stamp our grass with garden green. I'm going to bring in a piece of paper. And tap, tap, tap. And we're just going to start our grass coverage. Now we're going to bring in our blend to color this grass. We're going to use the pencil nib and just begin by going over the grass. Now we actually stamp those flowers, the carrots, some eggs, and a butterfly, and we already have those colored. Now, where I want to put these really cute flowers is I want to go ahead and line up the corner right there. So let's go ahead and lay those down. It just really adds, just keeps adding to the card, right? So you can decorate this as much or as little as you want. It's still a beautiful card design. And it just kind of frames the corner and becomes a border. Look at that for the corners. So now you can see where we're going to add this right to the front. But let's go ahead and get this decorated before we do that. Now we have our bunny. We're going to put him right here. And we're going to set him up on dimensionals. That way we can set things behind him and in front of him. Okay. We have some grass cut out so that we can add some grass right here to his little feet. We also have some eggs we can put right here. And some carrots. I'm going to put some carrots. I'm going to put them right there. And we'll go ahead and just glue them down. Now we're going to add our egg right there. And we have some other eggs that we can put right behind him. Okay, and now we have the butterfly that we need to add. We're going to add it on some dimensionals. Now we need to add this right on the front and decide how far you're going to go down. About right there. So we need to put our glue right here on the center because you don't want to glue him flat. He won't then pop up. So we're just going to add this right here to the center. Bring this in and put it down just like that. Oh, now look at that. We still need our message on the front, right? So we are going to add Easter blessings, and we're going to put it right here. And let's go ahead and add it on some dimensionals. Being very careful when you put this on here because you don't want to really push down too hard. Now look at this one. Isn't that a beautiful scene? Look at that. It stands up and creates this adorable card. So here we have our two cards. We created a Mother's Day and an Easter. I showed you this one could just be a friendship card with all the beautiful flowers. And finally, here's our other card with these cute daisies. Just kept adding and adding because I thought, oh my goodness, we need more flowers, more flowers. Well, we need you right now to take a moment and leave a comment. Let us know which is your favorite card. Well, we just appreciate your time and hope that you liked our Bendi cards. They are one of those cards that look complicated, but it's so easy, and it really just depends. How much do you want to decorate it? You can go simple, or you can add more and more embellishments to make it a wow card. Well, we want you to go out and have a fantastic day. Remember, give us a like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.